fourth different starting lineup for Team USA, which has Butler playing on his home floor tonight, along with Kyrie Irving, DeMarcus Cousins, who we spoke about, Kevin Durant, and Carmelo Anthony. The big news for Venezuela, they are also shorthanded. Easily their best player, and certainly their best known player to American audiences, Greivis Vasquez, has been shut down by the Brooklyn Nets, and he will not play tonight, and in fact will not play in the Olympics either. Vasquez is very disappointed about the decision, but from a health point of view, he played just 23 games last year after undergoing surgery on his right ankle to remove bone spurs. He and the Nets are in agreement that he's got to get healthy and get himself right before what would be his 7th NBA season.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's important for him, big picture, to get healthy. Of course, you know he wants to represent his country. He wants to play tonight, be in Rio, but his health is the most important thing. And he told us he'll be in Brooklyn shortly after this game, rehabbing and getting ready for the season.
Good evening. On behalf of all of USA Basketball, we want to thank y'all for y'all's continued support. As we take this thing to Brazil, I know that we want to make each and every one of you Americans proud. It's a task at hand, but we want to continue this winning tradition and bring home gold for us and for y'all. So thank you again and enjoy the game.
Nice moment for Jimmy Butler here in Chicago as he's getting his first taste of Team USA basketball. First time ever playing for the U.S. national team. And Grant, he's one of those players who has to adjust what is his normal NBA game. Now a 20-point scorer here with the Chicago Bulls. Takes on a little different role here with this team.
Without a doubt, but he is one of those players that can adjust. He can be a defensive player. He can play off of guys. Most of these guys have to adjust and adapt to the style of play, to the talent level of their teammates. They are obviously the common goal here to win a gold medal. It's easy to sacrifice in this environment. And as you see, Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, those two guys as well, the entire team coming together for one common goal, and that's representing your country, the USA.
Butler, a two-time All-Star who made his bones as an NBA player on the defensive end and has evolved into more of a scorer here in Chicago. Just about set to go here from the United Center. Our officials tonight, Jose Carrion, Anthony Jordan, and Tommy Short. As we get set for tip, it'll be DeMarcus Cousins and Gregory Echenique, who will tip it up for Venezuela in their red uniforms, having qualified for the Olympics for just the second time in the nation's history and the first time since 1992 when they finished 11th. They will be one of the longest of long shots at the Rio Games, coming up starting next week. We'll get into more about how they qualified for the Olympics, which is quite a story in and of itself, going back to last year in the FIBA Americas tournament along the way. Good crowd on hand in Chicago. Ready to see Team USA and Venezuela. And the U.S. wins the tip with Carmelo Anthony handling it and handing off to Kyrie Irving.
One of the points of emphasis for Team USA, play with pace. Play with pace and run your sets hard, move the ball, get the ball from side to side. Of course, get the ball inside to this matchup nightmare, DeMarcus Cousins.
Well, this is a little bit of a different look for this U.S. team when you've got a post player with his kind of skills. Cousins is off. Rebound comes to Venezuela, and they've got a chance to take an early lead here in Chicago. Number 5 is Gregory Vargas. There are 2 Vargases in the starting lineup. Number 10 is Jose Vargas. And this is Windy Graterol over to Gregory Vargas, the hero from last year's FIBA Americas tournament. Off on the three-pointer. Durant the other way, quickly in transition, up with the left hand and good. And the U.S. is on the board 2-0.
And this is where the U.S. can thrive in the open court, getting the defensive rebound, securing it, and getting out in transition, getting easy baskets. I'll tell you, 6'10", finishing like that, Matt, that's something else right there.
Not many countries can throw that back at the United States. I'd venture to say no other countries can really throw that back at the United States. Venezuela threw it away, and Vargas fouls Irving before he could get a shot up.
And right here, 6'10", handling the ball, going to his left hand. Good defense, but just better offense right there. Kevin Durant, known for scoring, particularly here in USA Basketball international competition.
He led the 2012 team in scoring, and of course a 4-time NBA scoring champ as well. First foul on Gregory Vargas for Venezuela. Ball stays here with the United States with 16 seconds on the shot clock. Irving inbounds it. Had an interesting conversation with Mike Krzyzewski here before the game about the way this lineup is put together. As Butler tries his first shot and makes it. A little like what we saw with Kevin Durant in Oakland the other night. Butler, the hometown guy, knocks down his first shot of the night.
He's a little comfortable with these rims and the surroundings here in the United Center.
4-0 quickly here. The United States up on Venezuela. Gregory Vargas gets a screen from Echenique, and it's an illegal one. And Kyrie Irving maybe a little banged up. Kind of winced as he fell to the floor, quickly back up.
Looks like he caught a knee right there in the thigh, maybe. As Kyrie Irving trying to get over the screen. They bumped knees there with Echenique there. Looks like he's okay though, Matt.
Smacks the left thigh as he brings it up for Team USA. Durant traveled with the ball, and back it comes. See these calls at exhibition season. You'll see them during the Olympics as well, as players get used to what is a travel at the international level.
It's a different game. The game is going to be officiated differently, and this is why these exhibition games are so important for Coach K and his team to get themselves ready for Rio and be prepared for a new style of play in the Olympics.
Jose Vargas. This is John Cox. Puts it on the floor. Out to Granarol. Short on the three. Ask Coach K about the officiating and how it's gone so far as Melo tries the three, follows his own. Said he just wants them to officiate the way they will at the Olympics so his players can make the adjustment. Irving, crossover. Short on the jumper. Back comes Venezuela. It's the veteran Cox, hounded by Durant. Out of bounds on USA.
And you love that effort. You've seen defensively, Team USA, they switch a lot on the perimeter. Their length is posing so many problems. Venezuela can't get to the rim, can't really get into their offense against the pressure of Team USA.
Well, defensively, they are a point guard's nightmare, and we've seen it in the games against Argentina and China. Defenders switch out on a point guards who will be guarded by everybody from 6'1" to all the way to DeAndre Jordan. We've seen switched out and effectively guarding point guards.
Yeah, no, it's been very effective. Obviously, Coach K has used that strategy in previous international play. Tyson Chandler was a big guy that could get out there. Chris Bosh in 2008, having a DeAndre Jordan as a big guy as well who can defend multiple positions.
Cousins lost his shoe there briefly. That was the delay. Durant with the outlet off the miss. Beautiful look from Kyrie Irving. Butler traveled before he got the shot up, and it all goes for naught.
And I'm not sure if I saw a travel on that play right there, Matt. Obviously a great pass, outlet pass by Durant, and then Irving. Yeah, it looked like Butler did not have his feet set.
Little shuffle of the feet by Butler. 2 turnovers in the last 3 trips down here offensively for the United States. Here's Cox out to Jose Vargas. Off on the 3. And Venezuela starts out 0 of 3 from the field. Irving over to Durant. Back to Irving. And inside to Cousins. Another post touch for him. And down to Durant. Double comes. Irving swings it. Melo for 3. Tapped out by Butler. Back to Irving. That'll fall. Kyrie Irving knocks down the 3 for the United States.
And Matt, I know you've done a few games here during this exhibition season, but to see the unselfishness, making the extra pass, obviously a great tip out there, and Kyrie Irving knocking it in.
3 buckets by 3 different Americans here so far, in stark contrast to what we saw Monday night when Kevin Durant scored the first 10 points for the U.S. DeMarcus Cousins slow to get up after the Venezuelan bucket, and he's waiting in transition. Gregory Vargas knocked down the bucket as his name comes falling apart. It's basically disintegrating on the back of his jersey. If he plays the entire first half, he may not have a name or number back there.
That's what happens when you have to guard Kevin Durant.
He shook him right out of his name. Melo, a second chance opportunity for the U.S. And this is really where they've hurt opponents so far is on offensive rebounds and second chance points.
Without a doubt. And we talked in the opening about DeMarcus Cousins, his size, his relentlessness on the boards, just a load down there. And Venezuela, they're going to have to maybe send two guys to try to block him out. One-on-one, you can't prevent him from getting offensive rebounds.
Foul goes on Windy Grotterol, his first, and Cousins goes to the free throw line. Want to hear from Coach K and the United States men's team after tonight's game? Tune in NBA.com and the NBA app for live post-game press conferences following our NBA TV coverage. DeMarcus Cousins, what an NBA season he had last year. Two-time NBA All-Star, All-NBA second team the last two seasons. And Cousins exits for DeAndre Jordan.
And it's interesting that Team USA has their two big men that are very different styles of play. DeAndre Jordan, more of a defensive center, likes to play screen and roll. Cousins likes to do his damage in the low post. So what luxury to have that flexibility for Team USA as John Cox knocks down a three-pointer.
Cox knocks down the three. He's 2 of 2 from the field. A quick 5 points for him. Venezuela within a point of the United States after missing their first 4 shots. They've hit 3 in a row. Durant from deep, short on the long 3. Echenike has the rebound for Venezuela.
And we talked in the opening about quick starts, and right now Venezuela, they feel good about themselves as Cox knocks down another 3-point shot. The thing with a team like this, you don't want to give them any life. You don't want to have them feel like they can play, and right now Venezuela, they're feeling quite comfortable out here in this court.
This is a 10-1 Venezuela run and a 2-point lead. Melo to tie it. And we're knotted up at 10 now, with Melo knocking down his first shot in 5 attempts. How about John Cox, 3 of 3 from the field with a couple of threes here already early on. Cox is also losing part of his uniform name. No matter. Jose Vargas is off. Melo with the rebound. Out to Durant on the wing, picked up by Gregory Vargas. That's poked away from Irving. Over to Melo, back to Durant, and he'll try another 3. It's off. Jordan.
Once again, Team USA centers extending the possession. DeAndre Jordan with a tough offensive rebound, and Kyrie Irving, one of his patented finishes there. Probably the best guard at finishing around the basket in all of basketball, Kyrie Irving.
Certainly be hard to argue that. Kyrie Irving is trying to become the 4th player in NBA history to win both an NBA championship and an Olympic gold medal in the same summer.
Now, who were the other 3?
2 of the other 3 played right here at the United Center. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, who was at the ballpark last night when we went to see the White Sox and Cubs.
Right.
And LeBron James is the 3rd. Grotterol off. The turnover by the U.S., but that's wiped away by Carmelo Anthony. And the U.S. wants to push. Melo to a trailing Kevin Durant, and couldn't get it to fall. Durant will go to the free throw line. Carmelo with a trademark block. And the U.S. getting a test here by Venezuela.
USA Basketball on NBA TV is brought to you by Nike Basketball. Bring your game.
Back in Chicago, where Team Venezuela has pushed the United States here early on. Venezuela's headed to the Olympics for just the 2nd time ever in basketball after stunning Canada on a controversial late foul call in the semifinals of last year's FIBA Americas tournament. Gregory Vargas hit a free throw with 0.3 left in the game to earn them qualification for the Rio Olympics. They went on to beat Argentina, another upset, to win the tournament for the very first time. They've only ever had 2 NBA players. One of them, you know, Gravis Vasquez, who we told you at the start of the game will not play, unfortunately, for Venezuela at the Olympics. Basically, he's been shut down by the medical team with the Brooklyn Nets, his new team, after playing just 23 games last year due to ankle surgery. It's interesting, Grant, the plan for Vasquez was really just to play him a few times strategically to try to get past the pool stage, which would be a huge victory for this team.
No, without a doubt, and that was the plan. Get him in a couple of games against some teams, some winnable games against some countries, and possibly extend to the next round, which would have been huge, or could be huge, if it were to happen for the country of Venezuela.
22nd ranked team in the world according to FIBA.
But it's amazing, man, to beat that Team Canada's Klay Thompson misses a three-point shot there, but to beat that team with so many young, talented players that Canada has. Steve Nash, obviously the general manager of Canada, and Andrew Wiggins, Corey Joseph. I mean, you have a lot of Dwight Powell.
Kelly Olynyk had 34 in that game.
Kelly Olynyk, another one. So that shows you something there about this team, as John Cox, once again, 4 for 4 from the field. Feeling pretty good right here now.
John Cox is feeling it here in Chicago. Leads all scores now with 10 points as Thompson responds. We saw him get hot the other night in Oakland when he knocked down 3 straight threes in the fourth quarter. And after kind of a slow start, he came around on Tuesday night against China.
You have to be in Klay Thompson's space as soon as he crosses half court with that kind of range.
Offensive rebound to Venezuela. And a foul out on Thompson as he fouled David Kubian.
And here's the thing, obviously USA has gotten off to a slow start, but with the talent and the depth, they can just wear you down. And we know with their defense and their high-power offense, they can get hot. And the crowd here just seems like they're waiting for that explosion to occur.
The U.S. is going to have to concentrate on John Cox, who is 4 of 4. The rest of his teammates are just 1 of 9 at this point. Turnover there by Venezuela. Back comes the United States. Draymond Green now in the game. Hasn't played his best so far in this exhibition season. And gets it into Kyle Lowry, also just subbed in. Lowry will take it himself against the roll as the U.S. goes up 18-12. David Kubian handles, former teammate of Jimmy Butler's at Marquette. Turnover Venezuela. This is what the United States does so well. Draymond Green was stripped, but it's a foul near the baseline, called by Anthony Jordan.
When we talk about this team, this second unit, as we see Paul George on the bench, these guys can defend. Draymond Green, DeAndre Jordan, Lowry, Klay Thompson, really just making life miserable for Venezuela, and Draymond Green getting to the free throw line.
And Mike Krzyzewski says that's one of the biggest adjustments for these star players, is to realize they can really go all out for relatively short periods of time defensively, something they're not necessarily accustomed to doing at the NBA level with guys playing 35 minutes a night.
Yeah, without a doubt. These guys on their team, respective teams in the NBA, it's a must. But DeAndre Jordan plays a little volleyball up there on the rim.
He's got a handle on that FIBA rule. He likes that a lot.
He likes that a lot. He wants to bring that to the NBA. But these guys, maximum effort. You know you got a guy coming in. He's going to play. You don't have to play heavy minutes. And that kind of effort is going to prove successful here for Team USA.
Cox still hasn't missed. Gives it up this time to Kubian. Gets himself into the paint. It's rejected by Jordan.
Thought he was going to shoot it.
Thought he was too. And he will this time. Klay Thompson short on the 3. Again tapped out by the United States. This time by Draymond Green. Thompson patiently to the corner. Draymond for 3, well short. And here comes Venezuela.
And Draymond has struggled with his shooting, just a little bit off. You wonder if maybe the basketball, the texture of the basketball is a little different. Or maybe for a guy who had a long emotional season and series in the finals, took some time off and now is trying to work his way into rhythm. But Draymond Green, I believe, will be a huge asset here as the team goes to Rio.
He's just 2 of 13 in the exhibition season so far for the United States. It's a foul on the pass. And it'll go against Draymond Green. It's his first personal foul.
And of course, we talked about the centers for Team USA, but Draymond Green, you know he can go small, put him at the center position, really switching everything. So having that versatility, multiple lineups, is a must.
Here's Cox, hasn't missed yet, and now he has.
He got too close.
John Cox, the son of an NBA player, and obviously of the scoring mindset with Team Venezuela. 12-2 U.S. run to answer Venezuela's 10-1 run. Thompson looking to add to it, but it's an offensive foul before he got the lob up to DeAndre Jordan.
And that might have been some great defense there. DeAndre Jordan rolling to the basket and obviously stepping up to take the charge. But that might have been the most exciting missed dunk right there.
Well, did you happen to see DeMar DeRozan's 360 attempt on Tuesday night?
Oh, I saw that.
That may be the greatest missed dunk I've ever seen.
That was unbelievable. That's just disrespectful right there. You know, the confidence to go up for a 360. Didn't make it, but it looked good.
Interesting first quarter here as Venezuela pushed the United States early on. 8 different Americans scored, and they lead it 20-12 after 1 here in Chicago. After a slow start, the U.S. leads it 20-12 after 1 quarter here against Team Venezuela. There's Dwayne Wade, the new Chicago Bull, that has introductory press conference today with the Bulls. He'll be Jared Greenberg's guest at halftime. The USAB Basketball Showcase presented by Verizon features the USA Basketball men's and women's national teams as they take on top competition in preparation for this summer's international games. Tickets for games across the country are on sale now. Visit usab.com/showcase for schedules and ticket information. The U.S. had more turnovers than assists in that first quarter, 5-3. And Venezuela, thanks to a 10-1 run, actually led for a bit in the first quarter. Offensive foul on Venezuela to start us off here in the second.
And you got to love that from your point guard, Kyle Lowry, stepping in there, sacrificing his body, taking a charge.
Foul on Miguel Ruiz, and it's his first of the night. Lowry brings it up for the U.S. Lowry will try the 3, rattles in and out. Thompson shows off the range with the offensive board inside of DeAndre Jordan. And we've yet to see a center from the opposing teams in these exhibition games who can physically deal with Jordan or Cousins.
And I'm not sure there's many teams out there, many countries that have the size. Obviously, Spain a few years ago with the Gasol brothers is a team that comes to mind, but they're getting up there in age, and obviously injuries. There's Jordan with another block. But his ability to change ends and run the court, DeAndre Jordan, quite freakish at his size.
DeRozan backs in. Back out to his teammate Lowry. Over to Green. He'll try the shot, heard the whistle. 2 free throws for Draymond Green.
And right here, DeAndre Jordan, just throw it up to him. Maybe want to wrap him up on that play, but no, DeAndre finishes at the rim. And then right here, this is where he makes his living. Don't shoot in front of me, young fella. Do you know who I am?
There's Scottie Pippen, a 2-time gold medalist and a member of the original 1992 Dream Team in the house here in Chicago. Of course, the United States has won 14 of the 17 Olympics in which the United States has participated. Of course, we boycotted the 1980 Olympics, and the 2 countries behind them on that list, Grant, no longer exist technically, the Soviet Union and Yugoslavia, so they won't be catching the United States or closing the gap anytime soon. 22-12 here in Chicago with Draymond Green trying to add to that lead at the free throw line. Venezuela has made 5 shots. They've also had 5 shots blocked so far. 4 of those by DeAndre Jordan.
And of course, one by Carmelo Anthony as he checks back into the game. But it is pretty amazing how the U.S. has just dominated here in basketball, and obviously have changed in 1992, allowing the NBA players, the professionals to play, and what Jerry Colangelo and Mike Krzyzewski have done starting in 2006, really making this program a family, about team, and having great players want to play and commit like they have through the years.
Shot off by Dwight Lewis. DeRozan brings it up, pushing into Cuz. Turns over the left shoulder, can't get it to go. U.S. retains possession again, and DeRozan will try the 3. Cousins may have been called for the foul going on after that offensive board. And by the way, an update on number 5, Gregory Vargas. I don't know if he's gone to get a second jersey or if they've tended to the numbers and letters on the back, but everything seems to be back to normal now.
He's not guarding Kyrie Irving, so I think it's...
That must be it.
But I think Kyrie Irving is checking back into the game, so letters beware.
Venezuela, like the United States, or like most teams, scheduled a bunch of exhibition games to get themselves prepared for the Rio games. Lost by 31 to Lithuania. They beat Belarus, lost to the Netherlands, and then lost a pair of games in Spain to Team Spain. Won by just 15. The second one was not close, 91 to 55. They've been all over the place, slowly making their way back to South America. Here's Gregory Vargas, Butler on him. Swing it over the corner. And the three won't fall for Luis Bettelman.
Talk about exhibition games. Venezuela, they won't see a team quite like this team here with a combination of size and speed, talent. As Kyrie Irving just kind of waltzes down the lane and finishes with the left hand.
Easy finish for Irving, give him 7 now. Venezuela is just one of their last 11 from the field. That'll end the streak. Hazelor Bient knocks down the 3. Venezuela's 3 of 8 from three-point range.
That's an area Coach K had talked about before the game. Just obviously you have to guard the three-point line. That's why switching is so important. And Vargas has a wide open 3 that rims out, but these teams in international play love to shoot the 3. And you have to be disciplined and understand, close out, play every possession for the entire clock.
Butler hard to the rim. Cuz couldn't connect on the follow. Diet brings it up for Venezuela. This is that short of FIBA line, three-point line. It is an attractive shot. Diet is way outside the line as he missed on that 3. By Venezuela and knocked out by the United States. And Venezuela will keep it here with Nestor Colmenares set to inbound.
And you know, Matt, Team USA, they're up 10. Up 10 right now here in the second quarter. Just look a little sluggish right now. They had a very intense practice. They said it was probably the most intense practice they've had. They really competed, went up and down the court, played a lot of 5-on-5. And right now they just, you know, they don't seem like they've found a little bit of a lull there offensively. But we know that they're capable of flipping the switch and turning it up and getting it going.
A bit of a lethargic start for the United States and frankly for the crowd here in Chicago as well. There haven't been many big highlight plays for the home team.
Got more excited when Dwayne Wade was announced. Guess I'd be excited too.
Harrison Barnes into the game, gives it to Melo. Nice move. Misses on the fadeaway. Melo goes to his left, hangs, misses, follows his own shot, and he's fouled by Bettelman.
And of course Carmelo Anthony, who is so aggressive, loves to attack, uses his body, his size, so adept at getting to the free throw line. Did it on that play.
First foul for Luis Bettelman. And Carmelo Anthony about to become the first U.S. man ever to appear in 4 Olympics in basketball. Steps to the free throw line.
I mean, that's amazing. 4 Olympics. If USA wins, 3 Olympic gold medals, 4 Olympic medals in overall. That commitment right there to Team USA on his part is just really exceptional, and he really is the team leader. He's the leader, the guy who's been in some close games, has been through the battles, helped build this program to where it's at right now, and it's great that he's continued on here playing for Coach K and Jim Boeheim, his old coach from Syracuse.
Holds Olympic records for threes made and attempted. 3rd all-time in the United States in Olympic games played. 4th on the U.S. Olympic scoring list and rebound list.
And it's interesting. Carmelo Anthony, as you mentioned, and Kevin Durant are the only 2 that have played in the Olympics. There's been continuity the last few Olympics, having guys in LeBron and Kobe, obviously Melo, Durant, as Kyrie Irving gets the ball in the open court, and Cousins running the court hard, gets fouled.
I think Cox wanted to stop that before it got started. Stepped in to foul Irving.
Smart. In Venezuela, they got to get the ball to Cox, who's been the one guy offensively can get things going.
Foul goes actually on Jose Vargas. Into Carmelo Anthony. Looking for Cuz out of the post. Spins and called for the travel. Much to his dismay.
And that was pretty good defense there in Chanika there, just using his size as Cousins tries to spin off him. Just lost his balance there a little bit.
Echenique is very familiar with this part of the country and playing in the United States. Played at Rutgers and then was a teammate of Doug McDermott, current Chicago Bull, at Creighton. Inside they go. Echenique goes to the left hand and is a little long. Back comes Irving. Cousins, extra step. That is a travel.
That was definitely a travel. You got to love the effort. Cousins getting out in the open court. But just got to put the ball on the floor first, big fella. Yeah, I don't know. I think shackling a fool is not. They don't have the USA basketball edition.
I don't think there's an Olympic edition yet, anyway.
Don't give the big fella any ideas, that's for sure.
Well, that's a travel in the NBA as well, but there's no question it's a travel at the FIBA level. Kind of got caught between steps.
If I'm Venezuela, I'm feeling pretty good right now. You know, regardless of the reason, Team USA, you're only down 11, played pretty well, good defense. They're not totally comfortable out there, Team USA, and although Venezuela is not totally comfortable either on the offensive end, but.
Well, other than John Cox, Team Venezuela is now 2 of 20 from the field. That's no shot on the other end. As Irving was fouled by John Cox before the shot attempt.
I tell you, that was smart right there by John Cox. But did you see that finish by Kyrie Irving? It just amazes me, his array of shots around the rim, his confidence. He never gets his shot blocked. He's so good at evading the defender and using the glass. Great touch down there, and just playing with so much confidence after such stellar play there in the last year's playoffs. But just look, that's George Gerving-ish right there. Just nice little finger roll by Mr. Irving.
The MVP of the World Cup 2 years ago in Spain, including 26 points and 4 assists in the gold medal game against Serbia last year. And Kyrie Irving now has 9 for the United States. They lead at 28-15, under 5 minutes to go here in the second quarter. Matt Weiner, Grant Hill, great to have you with us here on a Friday night in Chicago, Illinois. Gregory Vargas fouled on the shot attempt for Team Venezuela.
That was a smart move by Vargas. Sometimes the best defense is good offense, attacking Kyrie Irving. You got to make Irving play defense as well. Vargas gets to the free throw line.
First free throws of the night for Team Venezuela, and it was Vargas who hit the biggest free throw in national team history last year to beat Canada on that controversial foul call and put them into the Olympics. Don't forget, the WNBA's 20th season is in full swing. Don't miss a minute of the action as the season resumes on Friday, August 26th. Be a part of the historic season and get your tickets today at WNBA.com/tickets. Gregory Vargas will go down in Venezuelan basketball lore for that free throw he made to put them into the Olympics for just the second time ever. And he heads out with Venezuela down by a dozen. Kubian assigned the task of guarding Irving.
Right now, Carmelo Anthony at the center position, but Coach K moves him around the power forward center as
Melo lost it. It goes as a shot clock violation, if nothing else. It will be a shot clock violation as Melo couldn't handle it.
And I got to give this team Venezuela some credit. I mean, defensively in the half court, they're competing. They're not backing down. It's important for them to get back in transition, not allow Team USA to get out easy baskets. And thus far, USA has struggled trying to get some rhythm, get some flow on the offensive end.
US doesn't have a made bucket in more than 3.5 minutes now, and turnovers in 3 of their last 4 offensive trips. But Venezuela hasn't really been able to capitalize on the other end of the floor, where the U.S. defense He's going to not only keep them in games, but win them a ton of games, even if the offense isn't working for him. Here's Cox, and the one guy who's been able to score for Venezuela. High arcing shot, beautifully done by John Cox.
I'll tell you right there, Jimmy Butler is playing good defense, but John Cox playing a lot of confidence right now.
12 points now for Cox, and Durant is way off in the three-point attempt. Butler with the offensive board as he's stuck with it. Back to Melo, he'll try the three. That's short. Irving back to KD. Off again. It bounces around. Irving goes diving toward us to keep it alive. Unable to do so, and back to Team Venezuela as the United States is now just 2 of 16 from three-point range.
And you love the effort, the attempts on the offensive glass. Kyrie Irving diving on the floor. I mean, just sacrificing his body here, trying to make the save for the play, almost diving into your lap there.
Almost.
But Kevin Durant, a couple bad misses right there, uncharacteristic for him.
Venezuela can cut it to a single-digit lead now with just over 3 minutes to go. Calling out the plays, they get it in the Cox rather. Former University of San Francisco star working on Irving over the top. Couldn't get it to fall. Irving working on Cox, hangs. Rolled off. Another second chance opportunity for the United States.
Right now, Team USA just can't find that basket, can't seem to knock it down.
U.S. returns to the offensive end, just 2 of 14 from the field this quarter. Barnes fouled in the act, and he'll go to the free throw line. Story so far has really been John Cox of Team Venezuela. Mentioned he played at the University of San Francisco, and his dad, Chubby Cox, also played for the Dons and was an 8th round pick in the NBA draft and went on to play 7 games with the Washington Bullets back in the 82-83 season.
That was back in my day. I grew up in the DC area. I was a Bullets fan. I'm gonna go back and check my media guys right there.
A fan of Chubby Cox?
I don't recall that name. I remember some of the other names: Kevin Greavy, Greg Ballard, Wes Unseld, Chubby Cox.
And John Cox has kind of handed it to the U.S. here on a Friday night in Chicago. United States lead is a dozen. Let's get a good look at John. Butler bumps Kubion, and it's a foul in the backcourt on Jimmy Butler. Just the 3rd team foul against the United States. Jose Vargas had something to say to Butler as he went to inbound. Kubion brings it up for the Venezuelans.
A little friendly chatter, man.
Yep.
Nothing too serious.
Back out to Cox. He has 12 already. Tried to get that past Durant. Hit him in the knee. And then I think he tried to bump him before he got the shot off. No foul called. And it works out in Venezuela's favor. Back they come. Travel on Vargas, who's wrapped up by Carmelo Anthony. Shuffled the feet as he tried to make the move baseline. And we will take a break. Under 2 minutes to go. The United States winning, but not exactly dominating so far.
A 12-point second quarter lead for Team USA in the second to last pre-Olympic tune-up. As we welcome you courtside, we are honored to be joined by General Martin Dempsey, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And every single summer when we get together to talk about USA basketball, the emphasis Coach K and Jerry Colangelo have put on the military's relationship with the team has been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, look, first of all, what America needs to know is these young men that are representing our country are unbelievable. They're great guys. And so too are our military. And we thought it was just a marriage made in heaven to link or to connect the best athletes in the world with the best military in the world. And so we're really happy about it.
General, a couple of times in Vegas and throughout this pre-Olympic tour, especially here in Chicago, we have seen some true emotion from both the USA players and the TAPS program, which is helping children who have lost a parent in service.
Yeah, so TAPS is Tragedy Assistance Program for Providers, and I'm going to make sure I don't get I don't want to become part of the game here, but And it's the, it's survivors. It's survivors of, it's sons and daughters and mothers, fathers. And what these athletes have done is embrace them, because what it helps them understand is what it means to represent their country. And that connection is magic, actually.
While that's all happening, we're seeing an incredible relationship building, and as much as it impacts the players, as Coach K wants to understand what serving is all about, what's the impact it's having on the military?
It works both ways, right? So the military feels good about what it does. These athletes are the most recognizable athletes in the world, right? And so what the military takes away is that they care. That young group of 12 or 15 or 20 of them believe that what they do is important. And so it's a great connection, and I'm so proud to be part of it.
A rousing ovation here as we get a timeout and play. We'll keep it here, though. Dwayne Wade being shown on the big board as he had his press conference. He'll join us at halftime. We know you're a pretty basketball fan. Used to play back in the day.
In the day. Now what I do is try to connect people who can make a difference in each other's lives. And what TAPS does, by the way, it's all about survivors. And, you can't ever overcome the grief that someone feels at losing a loved one. But what you can do is you can begin to pile memories on top of it, positive memories. And that's what these young guys have committed to do. And by the way, the women's team too. So let's not forget that Gino Auriemma and the women's team is committed to TAPS as well.
A big win for them tonight over Canada on NBA TV. General Martin Dempsey, thanks so much for joining us.
Sure. All right, thanks very much.
Matt, back to you.
All right, Jared, and while Jared was speaking with the general, Kevin Durant ended a streak of 13 straight misses for the United States. Their first bucket in more than 6.5 minutes. Here's Irving, adjusted in the air. That Butler foul won't count. Irving was fouled on the layup attempt.
And you heard General Dempsey talking about the relationship with USA Basketball, and I really respect what Coach K, what Jerry Colangelo has done, really for the players to understand that they're connected to something bigger than themselves. And when that Star-Spangled Banner is played before every game, and obviously at the medal ceremony, to understand that you're connected, who exactly you're playing for, and so they've done that every year, and I think it's very much benefited the team. But as Jared talked about or asked, and General Dempsey mentioned, it also benefits the soldiers and troops who have the experience as well.
And it's a natural connection for Mike Krzyzewski, who of course played and coached at Army, starting his collegiate coaching career back then. Played under Bob Knight, the military academy. Under 30 seconds to go here in the first half. The United States has had a sluggish start offensively for certain. Venezuela just hasn't been able to hit very many shots outside of John Cox. There's another air ball. And the U.S. lead is 16 with a chance for the final possession of this first half.
Here you can just eeny, meeny, miny, mo in terms of who gets the ball.
Well, in this case, eeny, meeny, miny, Carmelo. Layup there. Kubion at the buzzer. Off the glass, no good. And the United States has doubled up Venezuela 36-18 despite 30% shooting. They finish on an 8-0 run as we head to the half. It's Jared Greenberg with USA Basketball halftime presented by Verizon, and a visit with Dwayne Wade as we continue. It's halftime here in Chicago. Busy weekend in downtown Chicago, including Team USA's appearance here at United Center. And after a sluggish first half, they lead at 36-18. Time to take a look at our game summary presented by Samsung. And Grant, it was not pretty in the first half for either side offensively. For the United States, they shot 30% from the field and just 2 of 18 from three-point range.
Not pretty, ugly, the same thing. Just not very efficient, obviously, for Team USA. Missed a lot of easy open looks. Just looked like they were flat out there, Matt, offensively, unable to get that rhythm, find that flow. Let's see here in the second half if they can increase the energy Although Jimmy Butler doesn't look too concerned. But, yeah, just not really finding it on the offensive end. The defense, that's obviously been there, been consistent. Offensively, struggle.
Great crowd here at United Center has been waiting to erupt, really, but there haven't been a ton of highlight-worthy moments for the United States, despite doubling up Venezuela. And for Venezuela, John Cox was the story. He scored 12 of their 18 points. No one else could score. DeAndre Jordan all over the rim as he gets deep post position. Great ball movement for USA.
Great ball movement. Just they came out, moved the ball around, hard cuts, and got the ball inside. Highly efficient there from DeAndre Jordan.
Well, the United States had just 5 assists in that first half. They've been averaging 26 a game in this exhibition portion of the schedule. As back comes Venezuela, and it's a turnover. No, not a turnover. That was tipped by the United States.
But the ball moving right here, high screen and roll. Klay Thompson, he didn't hold it for long. Cross court, great seal inside by DeAndre Jordan, and when he gets the ball down there, not much you can do.
Beating the shot clock is Nestor Colmenares for Venezuela, and maybe they'll shoot it a little better here in the second half. It's a good start, certainly, for Team Venezuela.
They can't shoot much worse.
No, they can't.
Sure.
They were 7 of 32 in the first half and 3 of 14 from three-point range. It's under 22%. Lowry will try the 3 off the dribble. Might have nicked rim. Maybe not. They don't give him the shot. Shot clock now down under 5. Draymond Green, he did nick rim, but it goes to Venezuela. Vargas pushes and gets it back. Gregory Vargas over to Jose Vargas.
And Draymond Green's had 2 3-point shots thus far, and they've all been very short, very flat. No arc on the shot. It looked like Vargas walked there on that play.
Yes, it did. Instead, he gets the shot. It's well off. I'm with you. That looks like a travel. A lot of the United States shots, as that's cleaned up by Colmenares. 2 quick buckets for Nestor Colmenares here to start the second half. A lot of the American shots we noticed in the first half have been short, and by short I mean well short for whatever reason. Thompson's off the front rim.
Right on cue right there, man. Just good looks. That's a great shot, highly efficient. Klay Thompson coming off the down screen. Just everything's been a little short.
Good look from one of the elite shooters on the planet, Klay Thompson. He just hasn't had the touch.
I do think every time he shoots the ball is going in. I must confess.
Colmenares already has a couple of buckets here early in the second half. That one's stripped. And DeRozan is fouled by Jose Vargas.
You know what's interesting? And 2 years ago, the World Cup play, you had a guy like a Kenneth Faried who was just a high-energy player who, in a game like this, when things aren't going well, Coach K was able to insert him in the lineup and play. Just brought life, brought energy. You don't have that kind of player as Klay Thompson misses another 3. But he actually played well, started some games.
Played very well.
Very helpful in their quest for a gold medal at the World Cup.
He really just had free reign to run around and wreak havoc on both ends of the floor. Tons of offensive rebounds, tons of buckets in transition. They could use something to get the energy going here tonight. Vargas missed the rim on the short jumper, but disrupts that pass attempt. DeRozan to the rim. Left hand is good for DeMar DeRozan.
And I like that. When your jump shot's not falling, getting to the basket, getting into the paint, get an efficient shot, high field goal percentage. DeMar DeRozan, known as a slasher, not really a jump shooter, more mid-range, getting to the basket, to the free throw line.
First make of the night for DeRozan. Echenike to Cox. And John Cox is short.
And now he's missing.
Now he's missing too. It's contagious now. If you're just with us, John Cox hit his first 4 shots of the night. He had 12 of the 18 Venezuela points in that first half to really keep them in the game. Nobody else could hit anything for Team Venezuela.
So, Matt, you said just a minute ago that Team Venezuela, they hit 7 for 34 in the first half.
7 for 32.
And Cox had 5 of those field goals. 5 of those 7?
Yes.
Wow. So
the rest of the team not as good. 2 of 27 by my math. That'll fall.
Well, the great thing about shooters like a Klay Thompson, you're going to keep shooting. You're not going to stop. As you said, one of the best shooters on the planet. He still thinks every shot he's going to make, every shot he shoots is going to make.
Colmenares out front to John Cox. Cox with Thompson on him, gets a screen from Echenique. Showed good patience handling the ball, and he's fouled as he was working his way toward the paint. Foul goes on Thompson. That's Clay's third. Not that foul trouble's necessarily going to be a consideration tonight.
And, you know, watching this game tonight, as we see the coaching staff on the bench, as a player, going back to my time 20 years ago, 1996, obviously Scottie Pippen was on that team, and you know, you had so many practices against each other, your exhibition games. And it's almost like the preseason in the NBA, where after the fifth or sixth game, you're ready for the real games to start.
Thompson leaks out for the easy two off the Vargas miss. U.S. is once again doubled up. Venezuela up by 22 now. Jose Vargas, pressure, gets it to Guillet down low. Colmenares thought about it for just a moment before he noticed who was in front of him, DeAndre Jordan, and then got rid of it. Cox misses. Back to Colmenares, and he's fouled.
Venezuela, they're scrappy out here, persistent, just continuing to fight. You know, you want to make the most of this opportunity. Every time as a team you have an opportunity to play, you want to compete. And although they're down 22, they're still out here fighting on every possession.
Jordan's first foul. And a couple of substitutions here for Venezuela. Gregory Vargas and Miguel Mariaga are into the game. Jose Vargas exits, as well as Echenique.
And we talk about just the lack of energy right now. One thing I know Coach K really emphasizes is communication, talking, almost over talking, particularly on defense. We haven't really seen that here at the end of the first half and start of the second half.
No, it's been literally and figuratively a quiet night for the United States so far. Cousins is back in there. Jordan exited in that substitution. We had a foul before DeMar DeRozan could do something spectacular at the back end of that play.
And that was a smart foul right there by Guillen, just understanding that USA had numbers, fouling Kyle Lowry in the backcourt, and making them come down and try to earn here against this half-court defense.
They've shown a good feel for that a few times here tonight, kind of preempting the highlight play when they saw it coming. Colmenares exits now. Luis Betelme wears number 11 for Venezuela. Kyle Lowry brings it up for the United States, up 44-22 midway through the third. Here's Thompson. Hand off to Cousins. And Cousins, for at least the third time tonight, that might have been his fourth travel of the night here in Chicago. Just a little clunky all around for the United States. We'll hear from Gary Payton when we come back from Chicago.
After a bumpy first half by Team USA, it's a 44-22 third quarter lead. Jared Greenberg on the sidelines now, proud to be joined by a Hall of Famer and two-time Olympic gold medalist Gary Payton. It's got to be good to be back here watching the red, white, and blue again.
It ain't good to be in this arena. I lost a lot, but no, it's good to come back and see the USA team. It's always great to see these guys represent their country and then try to get us a win over there in the Olympics.
You and our broadcast partner Grant Hill teamed up in '96. What are some of your memories of your first go-round in '96 with the red, white, and blue?
Well, you know what, it was really fun because I got to play with the guys that I always was against all year long, and then become great friends with them. And then especially with Grant, we became great friends too. So it was always fun for me to be with them for the 3 months that I was with them and travel with them, and it was just a great time for me at that time.
You're being a lot kinder. He said earlier he wishes he got more playing time. He's not sure why.
Well, you know, I don't know. You know, that's just the way these teams go. You know, I was fortunate to start, but he didn't. You know, I know you should have played. He should have played, but you know what I'm saying. But it was just fun. We had fun. But you was the man, though, Grant. You was the man.
I'm just trying to sell him out. He didn't say that at all, actually. He's too nice of a guy. You know that from Grant Hill. Let's get the state of the point guard from you. Obviously went into the Hall of Fame a couple of years ago, and now it's deemed the golden era of the point guard in the NBA. Do you view it that way?
Yes, I do, because you know what happened is they turned 2 guards into 1 guard, and they can shoot the basketball. So they're dominated more the ball, and then they're shooting more threes. In our game, we were more dominant in the inside. It was an inside-outside game. Now it's an outside-inside game. So they shoot a lot of threes, and a lot of fans are really hyped on the three-point shooting. So the guards are dominating the ball, and they're scoring a lot of points. We got a lot of point guards in the NBA that right now that can score the ball. They were really naturally 2s when they was in college, and now they just turned into 1s in the pros, and they can score the basketball.
How are the Chicago fans treating you so far tonight?
Oh, they've been treating me great. You know, once you become off the court and you don't play against the Chicago Bulls no more, and you did what you did on the court and played hard like I did, they treat me well up in here. Everybody's been wanting a lot of autographs, a lot of pictures. It feels great to come to another arena and still get the love that I get.
I counted, though. I think Grant got a few more requests than you.
I hope so. He was a man. You know, that Duke man. That's what he was.
Gary Payton, thanks so much for joining us here as it is a 50-22 third quarter lead. Matt and the gold medalist Grant Hill back with more in a moment.
The United States Olympic Committee has selected Los Angeles as the U.S. bid city to bring the Olympic and Paralympic Games back to America in 2024. Let's give our Team USA athletes an Olympic home field advantage in 2024. Learn more and show your support at la24.org. A 10-0 United States run, and the U.S. leads it now 50-22. It has not been a thing of artistry for the U.S., and that ends the run with the three-pointer from number 8, David Kubian, Jimmy Butler's former teammate at Marquette. DeRozan is short on the jumper there, but the U.S. this 10-0 run has been more of a product of defensive work and kind of blue-collar sort of effort rather than any sort of offensive efficiency. And it's interesting when you think about this roster, and we noted it when it was announced, talked about it at training camp a couple of weeks ago. There aren't a lot of natural playmakers on this roster. There's no Chris Paul, for instance, no LeBron James type. Kyrie Irving is certainly more of a scoring type point guard. And there may be times when that affects the half-court offense in particular for the U.S.
Without a doubt, Matt. I mean, if you think back on some of these Olympic teams in recent years, 2008, Chris Paul, Jason Kidd, obviously LeBron James, both in 2008, 2012. Guys that can sort of take over and be leaders, you know, run the offense, really are quarterbacks on the floor. Kyle Lowry, great player. Obviously, Kyrie Irving, a great player as well. But they're more of scoring point guards, as Gary Payton alluded to. And that's the one sort of, if I had a flaw, if you would say, about this team, just not having a guy who can be a playmaker. I mean, really, Draymond Green might be the guy, at least in terms of how he's used in Golden State, getting triple-doubles, facilitating. That may not be his role here, but that's the one thing that I've seen that could cause some potential problems in Rio for Team USA.
Well, there's a guy who solves a lot of problems. Kevin Durant, who makes his first appearance of the second half. Foul went on Cousins, who's had a frustrating night to say the least. But to the point about the playmaking, so far the United States has as many turnovers as assists in this game, 9 of each, despite the big lead on an overmatched Venezuela squad. I mentioned off the top, Venezuela's going to be one of the longer long shots in Rio in just their second ever Olympics. Here's John Cox. Got hot in the first half, been quiet here in the second half so far. Scoreless since halftime.
And Matt, to your point too, this team that's on the court right now, some of the greatest collection of talent, but the instincts of all these guys is to shoot first. That's their game, their scores. They get the ball, they're figuring out how they can score. That's what's made them successful. That's why they are here. And obviously not having that point guard, that John Stockton role, or Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, you know, could be a challenge. Could be a challenge for this team as they go. I don't think it will be. I think they're good enough and talented enough where they win. But if I'm nitpicking here.
No, it's absolutely, and that's what folks have to do with this kind of roster is nitpick, because clearly the United States enjoys an embarrassment of riches when it comes to basketball talent, and by far the deepest reservoir of talent available in the world. when you start to look at the way rosters are assembled and how the parts fit, and just how good or dominant a team could be. And then you wonder, in a close game, should that happen against a France or perhaps in the medal rounds against somebody like Spain or Lithuania, how does that work? How well does it work together?
And let's figure out too. I mean, Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Durant are really the only remaining guys. You know, that team from 2012 had a lot of carryover from 2008 and also from 2006. And so that consistency and understanding roles and building that comfort level with one another in those close games, it showed. It came out in clutch moments in their gold medal quest in 2012 and 2008. And see how that unfolds here now with a little bit of a different roster and a different makeup.
Carmelo Anthony among the Americans having a tough shooting night tonight. He's just 2 of 10. Free throw gives him 6 points. The U.S. has missed 9 free throws among the other sloppy elements of this game tonight. Just 13 of 22 from the free throw line. Here's Kubian. Gets it back in front of Melo. He'll try the 3 off the front rim. Cousins has the rebound.
Well, Carmelo Anthony has a mismatch down below, as Kubian was trying to fight Carmelo and obviously was giving up quite some size at 5'11". Maybe not a bad foul, but putting Carmelo on the free throw line.
Same matchup he was faced with on the other end a moment ago.
And you know, Matt, that's one of the things we talked earlier about, the difference in how the international game is officiated. Unlike in the NBA, 5 fouls, now you're in the double bonus. And having the awareness of the foul situation and being aware, particularly on defense, not putting teams on the free throw line was a point of emphasis for Coach K. And one of the things he talked about before tonight's game. But they have to keep that in mind as they go to Rio, just being aware of one of those subtle changes about the foul situation and what kind of effect that could have on the results.
Coach Shea Garcia from Venezuela substituted out Kubian for the bigger Dwight Lewis. Offensive rebound for Butler now. Back to Melo and down to Butler. The hometown Chicago Bull over Vargas. And too strong. Foul on the rebound attempt in the paint. And that'll go against Miguel Mariaga.
And right there, Jimmy Butler, his sweet spot at mid post with a 5'11" Vargas on him, and just not able to finish there. But Cousins, once again, making a living inside on the offensive glass, misses first free throw.
U.S. now 14 of 25 from the free throw line tonight.
And sometimes as a coach, you're not mad at a performance like this. They didn't play well. You kind of, get the guys' attention now. Say, look, don't think we're just going to roll the ball out here and be able to run up and down the court like we did in those first 3 preseason games. And so using this as a teaching tool, using this as an opportunity, to learn and to grow as a team coming together, that look, we got to play. And obviously the win is here, but they just haven't played well. It's about playing up to their standards. And thus far, they probably haven't, Team USA.
I don't think there's any question about that. And the United States will obviously face some better opponents in Rio, but this is a good lesson in what their defense can do for them, because offensively, there's just been no flow for them, and they haven't shot the ball well at all. Vargas might have gotten away with a travel before the foul was called against the United States. Just kind of loosen up that right shoulder.
And Matt, not only a travel as he penetrates and gets into the paint, nice ball fake, but I thought he initiated the contact there on Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler was, stayed down, did not, I don't know, he kind of sold it there a little bit, but.
Little salesmanship by Butler. Does not get the call here even on his home floor or in his home building.
Home country.
It's technically not his home floor because USA Basketball provides the floor here in United Center. Certainly in his home country. That's right. Vargas off on the free throw, but Venezuela maintains possession. Rebound by Wendy Grotterol. Vargas, the hero of the FIBA Americas tournament last year, with the free throw that sent Venezuela to its 2nd ever Olympics. Shot is off at the buzzer by Dwight Lewis. Back comes the United States with Durant handling. Down to Butler, steps outside the three-point line. Looked like he was trying to get it to Cousins. Instead, kicks it out to Kyrie Irving.
Mismatch there. Carmelo Anthony.
Irving over the top, no. Cousins, no. But he's fouled once again, and the United States, again, kind of punching the clock on the offensive boards and making things happen down there the hard way.
DeMarcus Cousins just has a nose for the ball. You know, obviously we know his footwork, his ability on the low block, great touch. Starting to shoot some more three-pointers on the offensive end, but his ability to take up space, use his size and strength, anticipate the missed shot has really been on full display here tonight and throughout the exhibition season thus far.
He has 8 rebounds to go with 5 points so far. The United States just hasn't shot the ball well with the jumper tonight. Just 2 of 22 from three-point range, including 0 for their last 14. Here's Vargas. Grotto roll, showed shot, put it on the floor. This is on the runner. Cousins with his 9th rebound. Durant fouled before he could get a shot up.
And clearly that has probably been something emphasized by the Venezuela team, to not let this team USA get in the open court, foul them. Don't let the highlight plays make Team USA make basketball plays and not athletic plays, and really effectively taking the crowd out of the game. And obviously they're sticking to the game plan.
They've definitely been a factor in the clunky, lack of flow sort of feel to this game offensively for the United States. They haven't hit shots, but Venezuela has done what it needed to do.
And Venezuela's had some open looks.
Yeah.
I mean, they've had open looks. They haven't been able to convert. But when you play a team like this, you have to almost junk the game up. You have to have some strategy when you're outmanned against a very talented team. You have to figure out a way to control the clock, control tempo, and obviously be effective on both ends of the floor.
You got to hit shots like that. Vargas could not connect. Jose Vargas for 3, and that'll fall. Venezuela picks up a 3 instead of a 2. Still down by 23 here in the final moments of the third quarter. Melo to Cousins. Might have traveled again. That one was not called. And it goes over the left shoulder for the bucket. His first made field goal of the night. Cousins now with 7 points and 10 rebounds for Team USA. It's a 25-point lead. Final seconds here of the third quarter. Vargas poked free by Irving. Butler around the back. He'll pull up for 3 at the buzzer. And it's short, like so many other shots tonight for the United States. And they'll go to the fourth quarter just 2 of 23 from three-point range. The U.S. in control, but maybe not in love with the performance so far. The United States heads to the fourth quarter looking to improve on a three-point stroke that has largely failed them tonight. The Americans are just 2 of 23, including misses on their last 15 attempts now.
Matt, it's been like Jerry Greenberg and our super producer Tom Heights out there shooting. They can't buy a basket from the perimeter, Team USA, but still up big here, relying on their defensive performance.
That leads us neatly to our stat of the game presented by Nike. You see the three-point shooting in the exhibition season so far. The U.S. wasn't exactly on fire by their standards, but coming into tonight, 36.4% from three-point range, and obviously that number's going way down based on tonight's results.
And I'll tell you what, this team is too good of a shooting team. Some of the best shooters in the world. You know they'll get it going and won't have many games or performances like they had here thus far.
Got players like Kevin Durant, who's been fantastic from three-point range at the international level. 34 threes in 8 games in the 12 Olympics for Kevin Durant. Carmelo Anthony likewise has really just destroyed that three-point line. Shot 50% in the 2012 Olympics from three-point range. But nobody's really had it tonight. Here's Durant. Big step. And that's a goaltend, as it was knocked away off the rim by Colmenares.
And I don't know if he needed to goaltend there. It looked like he was going to miss it. It was going to be short anyway. Like the ball might have slipped out of Durant's hands.
excuse me, the goaltend on Miguel Ruiz, not Colmenares. But I agree with you. I don't think that ball had any chance of going in. But that again goes to the Venezuelan strategy, or apparent strategy tonight, of eliminating any sort of potential highlight for the United States whenever possible. There's Vargas and one. Jose Vargas with a strong move off the glass, and good for the 34-year-old veteran of 39 games with the Venezuelan senior team going back to 2007. First foul on Kevin Durant.
I'm not sure if that was a foul there on Durant. A little tap. Great shot there by Vargas. Attacking Durant. Nice little shot off the glass. Going for three-point play.
Vargas, like most of his teammates, plays professionally in Venezuela as well. Split his time between a couple of clubs, Marinos and Guaros. Many of these players come from the professional club Guaros de Lara, which was coached by the national team head coach, Shea Garcia, until recently, when the coach and management had a falling out, we're told. Happens sometimes.
Yes, it does.
Harrison Barnes wears number 8, brings it up to the United States. Open floor ahead of him, tried the lob to Cousins, just not in sync, and high over Cousins' head. Turnover for the United States, and back will come Venezuela.
It was the right play. Harrison Barnes attacking the basket, getting in the paint. Just threw the ball a little high.
10th turnover for the U.S. and they'll change out the ball, wet basketball, as we've talked about during these exhibition games. This FIBA ball does have a different feel to it and is prone, it seems to me more so than the NBA ball, to becoming slick.
No, without a doubt. We were out in Las Vegas at the training camp along with Steve Smith, and we had the basketball on the set, and even without it being wet, it felt slippery. Just a different texture, different material. These guys are obviously used to playing with the NBA basketball. That's always an adjustment. We saw yesterday here at practice, many guys getting shots up after practice, getting comfortable. Kyrie Irving, one of the best ball handlers, dribbling the basketball, working on his dribbling. This is part of what this time is for, this exhibition season. Not only getting comfortable with one another, but getting comfortable with the basketball.
It's a fundamental thing, but it's true. It's a different ball and has a different feel to it. Not sure which ball they came away with. They kind of traded them back and forth. We did come up with one, and we're back to playing here in Chicago with the U.S. up by 24.
With the Globetrotters over there. You know what was going on.
Waiting for the bucket of confetti to come out next. DeMarcus Cousins picks up his 3rd foul, and Colmenares goes to the free throw line. Colmenares had 14 points in each of Venezuela's exhibition losses to Spain over in Europe. Played 19 games with the senior team. And another member of this roster played collegiately in the United States, Indian Hills Community College in Campbellsville, going back to 2010. And a pro in Venezuela these days.
I'm impressed with your basketball knowledge of the country of Venezuela, man.
I got some stuff here.
Yes, you do.
I got a lot of stuff.
You have the inside stuff.
Irving, oh, there you go, a little promotional opportunity for Grant Hill. Irving turned the corner and finished nicely with the left hand. The U.S. has 60 now, up by 26 here early in the 4th quarter. The research is a special sort of challenge for these U.S. exhibition games. Colmenares put it on the floor. Cousins defended. Back out into the hands eventually of Dwight Lewis, but Venezuela keeps it off the miss. Jose Vargas. Cross court. High off the glass, no good. Kept alive by Ruiz. And finally it goes for Dwight Lewis. Nicely done by Team Venezuela. And we failed to mention in this game the FIBA rule change that resets the shot clock to 14 on an offensive rebound, which came into play a couple of times there.
I'll tell you what, that last possession, man, just all effort, all energy, all fight by Venezuela as Melo loses the ball.
Melo grabbing his hand on the way back as well. Venezuela with an easy opportunity, and that won't fall. That's kind of in keeping with what they've done offensively as well. Venezuela shooting just over 23%, but they are fighting.
They are fighting, you know, attacking the closeouts, getting to the basket, Guys not quitting on the play, and Ruiz getting the ball out, finding the shooter, knocking it down. That right there is just all effort. You can't teach that. You can't diagram it. It's about going out, playing with heart. And even though they're down big, down 23, still competing on every possession.
Well, I mentioned this is just the second time Venezuela has ever qualified for the Olympics in men's basketball. It is a big deal in their country, and frankly, it's a country that could use the distraction. Some serious economic issues in Venezuela. By some estimates, more than 3/4 of the population now has fallen into poverty in Venezuela. They'll be cheering on their team regardless of the results, and reason to cheer for the U.S. fans now with Jordan trailing the play and throwing it down on the break.
DeAndre Jordan waking up the crowd here in Chicago. We expected a lot more of that here tonight.
Draymond Green pressures defensively. Colmenares handles it. Back to Vargas. Ruiz out to Colmenares. Working over Lowry off the glass. Well off, shot clock violation. Back to the United States.
I'll tell you, I mean, is there a big guy out there his height that runs the floor like that and can get out, and just knowing that you throw the ball up that he will go and get it. So explosive. Mr. Jordan. Another Jordan played pretty well here in this building.
This building has hosted a Jordan a time or two, with some success.
Oh, a lot of success.
6 championships for the man who has a statue outside.
I'd say it was a lot different playing in here when that Jordan was no longer playing. Payback.
That'll affect the franchise.
Oh, yeah.
Lowry to Barnes. He couldn't quite get a clean handle on it, but eventually cradles it and finishes with the left hand. And Harrison Barnes' first bucket of the night gives him 4 points. 27-point lead for the United States. Has been an uneven game offensively, to say the least, for the U.S. Maybe tired legs from the scrimmage yesterday. Shots have been short. Really have lacked flow offensively. Echenique lost it off the post, but the U.S. gives it right back to Vargas. Vargas to Echenique, hard to the rim, and a good finish by the big fella, Gregory Echenique. That's his first bucket. 2 points for the former Creighton Blue Jay. Klay Thompson in transition, and granted, it was about this time the other night in Oakland when Klay caught fire and knocked down 3 straight threes.
He can catch fire anytime.
It can happen quickly when it comes to Klay Thompson, and the U.S. looking for somebody with the touch tonight.
Back in Chicago, where DeAndre Jordan is taking the court and utilizing this time with USA basketball to work on what is universally known as his weakness, free throw shooting. One constant going all the way back to the minicamp in Vegas has been Syracuse head coach and Mike Krzyzewski's assistant on Team USA, Jim Boeheim, working with DeAndre on his free throw shooting. He's 0 for 6 for the first 3 games during this pre-Olympic tour. Coach Boeheim telling me before the game here, they're working on his release point. It's been incredibly inconsistent, and because of that inconsistency of the release point, it messes up his confidence. But certainly they'll continue to work on it, and something Coach Boeheim hopes to help improve before their time is up with Team USA, Grant.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Jared. I mean, I played with DeAndre Jordan in Los Angeles back in 2013, my last year before I retired. And people see his struggles, they're well documented. But the guy put so much effort in every day after practice, working on his free throws, putting the time in. And you're right, there was the inconsistencies with his release point. And but a guy like that just lacking the confidence and, you know, getting a chance to obviously work with the Hall of Famer Jim Boeheim. But DeAndre Jordan may struggle with his free throw shooting, but he makes up for it with his defense and all his stellar play on the court.
Draymond Green stepped on the out-of-bounds line, 13th turnover for the United States. Grant, Jordan has an almost unimaginable gap between his field goal percentage, which is #1 in NBA history for a career, 67%, and his career free throw percentage, which is 25 points lower, 42%. It's hard to wrap your brain around those numbers.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, as it looks like Vargas stepped on the out-of-bounds line there, but I'd say most, if not all, of Jordan's field goal attempts are dunks.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been obviously an Achilles heel for him. We've seen other big guys struggle with their free throws. DeAndre Jordan, there's times where it actually looks good. It looks like a good release. The ball goes in well, and then he'll come right back with a bad miss. And that inconsistency has been consistent throughout his career.
If you only watched him at the line and didn't watch the result, you would never know that he's a bad shooter at the free throw line, because to your point, it looks fine coming off the fingers mostly. Lowry knocks him down there.
Obviously, the NBA changing the rule, no longer the hacker center or hacker whomever in the games, and penalizing teams for using that as strategy, which will benefit a DeAndre Jordan and others who have their free throw struggles.
It'll be interesting to see how Olympic opponents treat DeAndre Jordan in that regard.
Well, right now,
free throw struggles.
Well, tonight Venezuela had a couple times where they could have wrapped him up, and they didn't. Not an instinctive play, I think, for some of these international teams to intentionally foul somebody in those situations.
Guillet running out of shot clock, and that's about 2 feet wide right. Thompson fouled by Vargas, making his way up the floor. The United States has improved its shooting percentage to 39. May get over 40 yet. And a 30-point lead, but the final score, at least it doesn't appear at this point, won't be anywhere near to what they've been scoring in these games. They put up 111 against Argentina and 106 and 107 respectively against China.
And Matt, that just speaks to the separation in talent as Harrison Barnes airballs his pull-up jump shot. You shoot 39% from the field and you're up by 30.
Cox has it wiped away by Jordan. That's an goaltend on Jordan, who disagrees with the call. Ruling was that it had touched the backboard first, and Jordan just looked over at us and said, "I got that."
I don't know, Mr. Jordan. That looked like a good call right there.
I just mouthed back at DJ, "You're mistaken." No, I would never do that. Draymond Green out of the post on the smaller Vargas. Spins and finishes. Nice move by Draymond Green, and a good recognition by the United States that he had a much smaller defender on him. And that's Green's first bucket. He's the final U.S. player with a made field goal. Everybody else had already scored at least one bucket. Guillet into the paint. Grabbed by Jordan, but fouled before that.
And Matt, right here, you know what I love about what Draymond Green did? He didn't settle. Sometimes you have a smaller guy defending you. You think, okay, I can just shoot right over him. Draymond Green has struggled with his shooting and scoring. Took his time. Nice footwork. Got a highly efficient shot there off the glass. He'll get it going. He'll find his rhythm. No doubt in my mind. He'll get it going and find his rhythm and get comfortable playing in this environment. Does so many things. Really a utility guy. Can defend, can facilitate, allows you to play small. Has been very good and very talented throughout the last couple of years shooting from the perimeter, but has struggled here tonight doing so.
Green did have 7 rebounds against China on Tuesday night, but in the first 3 games he was just 2 of 12 from the field for a total of 7 points, 12 boards, and 5 assists. Guillet knocks down the free throw for Venezuela. Closing in on 3 minutes to go here on a Friday night in Chicago. Glad you're with us. What a great summer city, Grant. So much going on here. The Cubs are in town. Lollapalooza is here in Chicago in Grant Park. Radiohead is the headliner here tonight. Butler in and out from 3.
We might have time, Matt, after this game.
You know, we might have to do that. I haven't seen Radiohead since 1994.
I'm not sure I've ever seen Radiohead.
They were the opening act for REM.
Okay, all right. I've heard of Radiohead, but I've never been to one of their shows.
You should go sometime.
Yeah, maybe tonight.
Maybe tonight. You're Grant Hill. You can go wherever you want. Vargas is off, cleans up his own miss. been a grind all night for the United States, and they lead it by 26. Foul on Guillen. Guillen had 15 points for Venezuela in the championship game against Argentina in the FIBA Americas tournament last year. Another great moment in their history. DeRozan with the drive and the bucket. DeMar's second make of the night, 6 points for him. The U.S. is now at 39.7%.
Steadily climbing here with their field goal percentage. I think really they look tired. I mean, they've done a lot. They played a lot here in recent weeks, going after it every day. And this is one of those days where I think fatigue won. Fortunately, they played an opponent that wasn't up to speed. And
there's a highlight the Americans have been waiting for. Kyle Lowry somehow tapped that back to Jimmy Butler. What a play by Lowry.
wow.
And a finish by the hometown Chicago Bull, Jimmy Butler. And the lead is 30.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that before. That kind of alley-oop play.
Well, you're about to see it again.
That was a cue to Heights in the truck. And now Kyle Lowry just trying to save the basketball, throws it up to Butler, slams it home.
Time to take a look at tonight's play of the game presented by Kaiser Permanente. And Grant, when you're running a television production like our producer Tom Heights, you have to be ready for anything. So he had that Kyrie Irving play all queued up, but then was able to change on the fly when we saw the alley-oop to Butler.
And that's why he is called the super producer, Tom Heights. His ability to adapt and adjust in the truck, getting it done. Jimmy Butler, Kyle Lowry hooking up for the play of the game. Good job, Heights.
Finally, the roar that they'd been hoping to unleash here at United Center with about a minute and a half left to go in the game. Guillen off on the three, up against the shot clock. Back comes the U.S. United States plus 26 in the paint. This will be from outside. It's Thompson stroking it from three. Clay now 3 of 7 from the great beyond. That ties him with Kyrie Irving for the team high 13 points. The U.S. now 4 of 25 from three-point range. Vargas guarded by Lowry, got past him, threw it away. Thompson ahead. Here comes DeMar DeRozan. Windmill. DeMar DeRozan gave us a little preview of what he's capable of on Tuesday night when he missed on an attempted 360 dunk when he was fouled. Wide open floor in front of him there. DeRozan, the two-time dunk contest participant, delivered. And the USA chant breaks out finally here at United Center.
I guess better late than never. DeMar DeRozan showing off his hops, little windmill action, getting the crowd excited, getting the bench excited. And yes, just the gall he had, the nerve to try to do a reverse 360 over somebody. That's some confidence in your jumping ability right there.
No need to shoot here for the U.S., and they'll win it 80-45. The United States finally did climb above 40% shooting, 42.4 to be exact. But just 4 of 25 from three-point range. It was a grind all night long. But the red, white, blue moved to 4-0 on their exhibition schedule with a date in Houston against Nigeria coming up on Monday. We'll be back from Chicago to wrap it up after this.